Here's 3 shots that I can think of that help pros survive certain situations. So yes, pros hit their stock numbers, they're a stock flight, and oftentimes they're a full sending driver just like you might. But then they have this set of skills that kind of sit beneath what is considered stock, and those are the specialty shots. I'm going to take you through 3 of them. One is with driver that's going to help you survive maybe difficult golf course and or difficult weather conditions. Number 2 is a specialty wedge shot that's going to help you ensure that when the carry distance you absolutely and positively have to hit to get close to the hole, you'll be able to do that. And then the last is a putting situation or putting strategy that will ensure that from long range, just like the pros, you leave yourself with a tap in versus a long comebacker for your second putt. Let's go. The first one is called a fairway finder. Yes, pros oftentimes go full send with driver, hit at max swing speed, and they hit it up in the air to maximize carry and distance. But there are certain situations where they'll defer to a different weapon, and that weapon is called fairway finder. In this situation, I've got a narrow fairway, I've got wind pretty hard off the left at about 10, gusting to 15 miles per hour, and I've got junk either side of the fairway. And so in this situation, pros are going to make 2 modifications. They're not going to swing max swing speed, and they're also going to try and bring the ball flight down out of the wind. They're going to lower the launch angle. How they accomplish that lower launch angle is they'll drop the tee height down to hit more in the midpoint on the face, not the high point on the face. And then they're going to try and return to impact with the handle leading a little longer. So rather than kicking loft in, they'll give up on trying to create a positive angle of attack, and they'll try and neutralize, be relatively zeroed out with their angle of attack or even a little bit down to accomplish bringing that ball flight down to keep it out of the wind. So we drop down swing speed to encourage more control. We drop down our launch angle to keep it out of the wind, and that becomes our fairway finder. Let me hit it. Just like that. Shot 2, flighted wedge shots, meaning bringing the launch trajectory down with your most lofted wedge. In this situation, the pin's on a back shelf. It's probably only 4 yards beyond the crest of the hill. That back shelf is about 5 feet above the surface of the rest of the green. It's a shot that kind of screams that I should hit it high up in the air. The pros would choose to flight this one lower. And the reason they would choose to flight this one lower is when you're creating a lower dynamic lofted impact, the club head speed delivered basically matches the ball speed. And when the club head speed and ball speed are a match, it's a whole lot easier for us to consistently and predictably control our carry distance. So how to accomplish this? We want to put the ball a little bit back behind middle. We want to feel our mass, our body shifting to the target ever so slightly. How you can accomplish that is if we swing around, we put our shadow directly in front of us at 12 o'clock, we can see our body mass shifting during the backswing. So we got that ball behind center, we got body mass shifting during backswing, and then we're trying to make sure that we hold this right wrist bend back so the handle's leading. I like to feel like the butt of the club is pointing to the outside, to the left of my left shoulder for a long period of time to flight these down low. So that's a 3-step process to flighting our wedge shots. Shot 3, pros will always protect a low side miss when given a long slopey putt. So I've got about 30 feet here, and it looks like the slope that is on a straight line between my ball and the hole is maybe 2%. And as I shift my vision out to the left here, I see this big mound out here, and the slope progressively is only increasing. Around that mound, the slope is probably about 7%. Now, the tendency would be to treat this putt, at least amateur tendency or junior tendency, would be to treat this putt as a relatively straight putt. But the danger is, if it gets rolling on too low a line too soon, it's only moving further away from the hole down that 2% slope. So I've left myself there with about a 7-footer that still has some amount of break on it. Whereas if I shift to the highest possible line using this 7% slope out here, so what I know about this one, once it crests the slope up there, playing the highest possible line, is it's only going to get closer to the hole as it's slowing down. So there's its crest, and now I'm cheering for it, right? Rather than asking my low side putt to sit, I'm asking my high side putt to keep moving because it's getting closer to the hole, basically ensuring that you leave yourself with a tap in. So high side break, not low side. Protect the low side. So there's 3 shots that pros survive on that you as a competitive player should be able to develop that's going to help you separate from the rest.